All right, so if we were having an investigation into that, it would be investigations after other investigations. This one more focused, I guess, on the behavior of Mr. Raffensperger. But you had charged that you want to probe into whether he used his office to advance his political interest. He was supporting you and your colleague. So how was that opposite what your interests were? You were both on the same page.
That's not exactly correct. I mean, look, he's our top elections official. He's not a partisan official per se, but my focus is not sweeping this.
But he wasn't for your opponent, right, Senator? He was for you. He was for Senator Perdue.
Well,
so
look,
what would be in his interest to sabotage that?
Not suggesting sabotage. I'm suggesting that Georgians don't trust voting right now, and he took actions that led to a lack of confidence.
This is Kelly Loeffler, former Republican senator from Georgia, who was appointed to her seat, got rich through stock trades during a pandemic, and then lost that seat in a special runoff election on January 5th when she actually faced voters. And so now, this politician has decided that instead of accepting the fact that the voters rejected her and the guy at the top of her party's ticket, she's going to take the Trump route, lean on a bunch of conspiracies, and then pretend that in fact the 2020 election was stolen. But sure, Republicans are the party of the Constitution. Got it. Kelly Loeffler is now calling on Georgia's Attorney General Chris Carr to investigate Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger over whether he used his office to advance his own personal political interests during the 2020 election cycle, which apparently Loeffler believes were against the political party that he's a part of. The allegation says that he, quote, politicized and minimized voters' legitimate concerns about changes to Georgia's elections that came about in response to the coronavirus pandemic. This request is not about the outcome of an election, but about the loss of confidence in our elections and the importance of holding elected officials accountable for upholding the law and carrying out their constitutional duties. If voters don't trust the electoral process and their elected officials, we risk sustained damage to voter participation in our state. Only what Kelly Loeffler failed to note here is that the loss of confidence was due to Trump and the Republicans' own lies. Sorry to break it to Kelly Loeffler, but if she's looking to investigate the people responsible for a loss of confidence in our elections, she might want to board a flight to Mar-a-Lago. Now, Loeffler cited a range of issues, including Raffensperger's decision to allow drop boxes where some counties had more than other counties, and facilitating mass unsolicited absentee ballot requests. And look, I'm no brain surgeon, but might some counties having more drop boxes than other counties have something to do with the fact that, oh, I don't know, some counties have more people than other counties? And as far as the scary verbiage used to describe mass unsolicited absentee ballot requests, all these are ballot request forms. It's not a ballot, it's an application for a ballot. And even that ballot application requires signature verification in Georgia, meaning that it's just as secure as voting in person. Meaning that Loeffler's beef here is simply with the fact that people were given avenues to vote, because for the umpteenth time, the GOP is inherently anti-democracy. Kelly Loeffler even twists herself into a pretzel trying to suggest that Brad Raffensperger isn't a partisan official. He is quite literally a Republican. In fact, he was outspoken in trying to actually get people to trust the election despite Trump and other Republicans fear-mongering so that Republicans would win that election. So to claim that he's not exactly partisan per se is so unbelievably tortured that even Dick Cheney would tell Kelly Loeffler to cool it. Consider too, every single ballot in Georgia was recounted by hand in a statewide audit of the election results, and there was zero evidence of any fraud or nefarious behavior. In other words, Loeffler is complaining about an election that was literally conducted properly and then proven to have been conducted properly when every single vote was counted again. This is all predicated on a fairy tale. So let's just be real here. Republicans like Kelly Loeffler know that they can't win unless they cheat. And so in order to cheat, their only strategy is to continue beating this drum that the 2020 election was fraudulent, which they will then use as a pretext to continue passing voter suppression bills across the country, just like SB 202, which passed in Georgia. Forget that there's quite literally zero proof that the election was fraudulent. Forget that Trump lost 65 cases in court. Forget that the DOJ and DHS said that it was secure. Forget that even Republican governors and Republican secretaries of state agreed. The point isn't the truth. The point is to give oxygen to BS conspiracy theories, because that'll help give Republicans cover to keep pursuing anti-democratic tactics to rig elections. Kelly Loeffler may not be in the Senate, but her antics are perfectly indicative of the GOP strategy here, which is to ensure not that our elections work properly, but that our elections work for Republicans and Republicans alone. To see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe. And for a deeper dive, check out my podcast, No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, where I discuss the week's top stories and interview major players in the world of politics, like Vice President Kamala Harris, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, Elizabeth Warren, Chuck Schumer, Katie Porter, Pete Buttigieg, Nancy Pelosi, and many more. Again, that's No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, available anywhere you listen to podcasts.